If you're sitting at a desk and thinking, I need a laptop that actually lets me game, edit video, and still be useful for work like email and spreadsheets without feeling like I'm juggling 3 separate machines, then you're probably already wary of the hype that comes with the newest gaming rigs. The fear is real. You could spend a lot of money on a flashy spec sheet and end up with a machine that overheats in a coffee shop, drains the battery before you finish a single match, or forces you to carry a separate dock just to plug in a monitor and a headset. Those are the kind of practical concerns that keep most buyers up at night, because none of us want a laptop that's impressive on paper but a pain in everyday life. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through why the HP OMEN AI 17.3 inch feels different from a lot of other big spec laptops, who will actually get the most out of it, and where it falls short enough that you might want to keep looking. I've spent the last week digging through forums, watching a handful of streamers who've taken this model on the road, and testing the machine myself in a typical home office setup. The goal here is to give you a realistic picture, not just a list of numbers. First off, let's talk about the display. A 17.3-inch IPS panel with QHD resolution and a 240Hz refresh rate is a rare find in the laptop world, and it immediately changes how games and creative work feel. In practice, the combination of 2560x1440 pixels and that high refresh rate means you're getting crisp detail without the eye strain that can happen on a lower resolution 1080p screen at the same size. When I ran a few modern titles Cyberpunk 2077 and Valorant, the image stayed smooth even when I pushed the graphics settings up, and the colors stayed vibrant during a video editing session in DaVinci Resolve. The downside is that this larger screen eats up a lot of desk real estate, so if you have a small work surface or travel often, you'll need a sturdy stand or a carry case that can accommodate the extra bulk. Now onto the CPU and GPU. The machine is powered by an AMD Ryzen 9 3650 AI processor, a 10-core chip that can boost up to 5 GHz. Pair that with an RTX 5070 8GB graphics card, and you're looking at a sweet spot for high frame rate gaming and GPU-accelerated workloads like 3D rendering. In day-to-day use, this translates to being able to launch a game, a web browser, and a voice chat app all at once without noticeable lag. For content creators, the RTX 5070 also supports hardware-accelerated ray tracing, which can shave minutes off render times. However, the performance gain over an RTX 3060 Ti or even a 3070 is most noticeable in titles that heavily use ray tracing. For standard raster games, the difference might be marginal, meaning you could be paying a premium for features you don't fully exploit. Battery life is one area where the hype meets reality. The laptop ships with a 6-cell 83Wh battery, which is generous for a 17-inch gaming machine, but the 230W power draw of the RTX 5070 and the high refresh display still drains it quickly. In my testing, pure gaming gave me about 2.5 hours of play before I needed to plug in, and a mixed workload gaming for an hour, then switching to Adobe Photoshop for another hour cut the runtime to roughly 4 hours. If you plan to game on the go, you'll definitely want to keep the charger handy or look into an external power bank that can handle the laptop's power requirements. Conversely, if most of your usage is at a desk with a power outlet, the battery isn't a deal-breaker. One of the most interesting parts of the package is the included DockStorm portable USB hub. It adds a couple of extra USB-A ports, a 4-lane USB CPD, and an HDMI output, which solves a common complaint on many gaming laptops: the scarcity of ports. In a real-world scenario, I could plug in a 4K monitor, a wired headset, an external SSD, and still have room for a mouse and a keyboard without resorting to a separate dock. The hub itself is compact enough to slip into a backpack, but keep in mind it adds an extra cable chain, which may feel a bit cluttered if you're trying to keep things minimal. Who should consider buying the HP OMEN AI? If you are a gamer who wants a desktop replacement experience, a creator who needs both strong GPU performance and color-accurate, high-refresh visual output, or a professional who appreciates the ability to run multiple intensive applications side by side, this laptop makes sense. The 16 GB of DDR5 RAM is sufficient for most modern games and multitasking, and the 512 GB NVMe SSD provides fast load times, though power users may find the storage capacity limiting after a few large games and project files accumulate. In that case, adding an external SSD or swapping the internal drive later is a straightforward upgrade. Who might want to skip it? First, anyone who prioritizes